It is funny how quickly just a single cup of coffee can completely change your morning. You wake up feeling like super sluggish, you drink it, and suddenly you are completely wired and ready to take on the world.
Right. Yeah, we are so conditioned to rely on an external substance to, instantly alter our internal state.
Exactly. But today we are looking at an excerpt from the April 15th edition of the daily devotional Rhapsody of Realities by Pastor Chris.
And it tackles this exact phenomenon.
Okay, let's unpack this. The devotional draws a really stark contrast using Ephesians 5:18. It compares being drunk with wine, which is, relying on an external substance to alter your state, with being filled with the Spirit.
Right. And our goal for you today is to figure out the practical mechanics of how to actually maintain that spiritual state.
Yeah, exactly.
What's fascinating here is that this isn't just presented as a vague, mystical idea. It moves straight into exact mechanics.
Verses 19 through 21, right?
Yeah, exactly. They give us a tangible routine. Things like speaking in psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs, making melody in your heart, giving thanks, and submitting to one another.
Wow.
Yeah, this is framed as a deliberate, daily personal practice.
Right, a proactive choice. Here's where it gets really interesting, though. Is this essentially like creating a customized internal playlist of gratitude and melody?
Oh, I like that analogy.
Right, like instead of waking up and letting the morning traffic or, say, a stressful email dictate your mood, you are intentionally queuing up this internal playlist to set your own emotional state.
Yes, absolutely. And if we take that playlist analogy a step further, it functions a lot like a pair of noise-canceling headphones.
Wait, how so?
Well, the mechanism here is about cognitive disruption. When you actively practice gratitude and internal melody, you are generating specific psychological frequencies.
Okay, I follow.
And those internal frequencies actively cancel out the static and noise of daily agitation, interrupting your brain's default reactive pathways.
Which naturally lean towards stress, let's be honest.
Oh, totally. You interrupt them before they even have a chance to take over.
Which perfectly explains the alternative. I mean, if you aren't wearing those internal headphones, you are just completely exposed to the noise.
Precisely. The devotional outlines a clear dichotomy. People who don't maintain this internal atmosphere are described as easily troubled and uneasy.
Always looking for someone to blame, right?
Yeah, or somewhere to vent their frustrations. It describes a state of purely reactive living. Without that internal buffer, you are completely at the mercy of your environment.
Okay, I have to push back on this a little bit, though.
Sure.
The instruction here is to stay continually stirred, stimulated, and spiritually minded every single day.
Right.
Constantly singing, constantly giving thanks, maintaining a constant state of spiritual stimulation. I mean, honestly, that sounds incredibly exhausting. Wouldn't that just lead to mental burnout?
You would think so, yeah, but there is a profound paradox at play here. This constant spiritual stimulation actually leads to mental rest.
Rest?
Yeah. It is not about frantic physical energy, It is about establishing an unshaken internal baseline. The framework argues that when you maintain that atmosphere, you stop struggling and your faith prevails.
Oh, I see. Because it is exhausting to constantly fight your environment.
Exactly. But when your internal reality is set, that friction just disappears.
So what does this all mean for how we actually operate day to day?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, the ultimate goal is functioning from a place of divine supply, strength, and wisdom.
Okay.
By maintaining this atmosphere, the devotional asserts that things become permanent, unshaken, and eternal. It allows you to actively govern circumstances and rule over life's situations.
Rather than constantly being ruled by them.
Right, exactly.
It shifts the locus of control entirely inward. Which leaves us with something really vital to think about as you go about your day. The text insists it is entirely your responsibility to remain in this atmosphere daily.
Absolutely.
How often are we unknowingly choosing our own daily agitation simply by neglecting the internal melodies and thoughts we rehearse?
That is the big question.
Right. Just like we choose whether or not to pour that morning cup of coffee, maybe we are choosing our own peace or our own panic long before we ever step out the door.
We trust you were blessed by this episode. To gain unlimited access to Rhapsody of Realities by Pastor Chris, please download the Rhapsody app using the link myapp.rhapsodyofrealities.org. God bless you.